Welcome back to the Breakroom. Live on Twitch, we made some tier lists, one of them being all of the Mission Impossible movies. That's right, from Mission Impossible 1, no subtitle given, all the way to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is actually Mission Impossible 7. You can catch all the fun live on Twitch at BreakroomNR. Enjoy this tier list.
So today we're doing tier lists. We're ranking and reviewing
best butts in pop culture.
Best butts in pop culture, starting with mine. No, we're doing Mission Impossible films.
Have you watched all the Mission Impossible movies recently?
I have not seen some of them, but I've seen a lot.
Oh, okay, then this will go great.
Okay.
This will go great.
All right.
Oh boy.
This will go great. Are we starting with those?
What's the ruling on this? Are we trying to come to like all three of us a consensus?
I think we'll find a consensus.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an S tier movie.
The first one? No.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Nope.
So many iconic
okay.
moments.
Okay.
You've got crawling through vents. You've got the wire work thing
I
in the
recently,
room.
Cinema Sticks, a great channel. I really like the kind of film essays they do. They talked about the first one.
Sure.
It's a Brian De Palma joint coming out of nowhere with this one.
Sure.
The thing that this video pointed out that I really agree with and I love is that the movie has like 3 distinct looks. It's got when they're in Prague that has like the old Europe look to it.
Very hazy.
When they're in
foggy.
Virginia breaking into the CIA, it's very bright, it's very light. And then when they're in London, it's like a mix of the two. It's the old European meets a new modern aesthetic. Some fun Dutch angles in it, some fun practical. I mean, that movie set the standard for a lot of stuff, a lot of practical stunts. Now, the train stuff at the end is CG, but there's obviously some real stunt work going on. Like Tom's flipping upside down. There's a lot of wind being blown. And Tom being blown in the wind is like a thing with these movies.
True. And in the CIA Langley section, you cannot deny the iconography of that sequence where he comes down with the wires.
That's why I'm saying it's an S tier.
Like Mission 2, 3, and then I think even 4, each of them had a character kind of comes down and almost hits the floor moment.
Okay.
It's so that's like quintessential spy movie iconography.
Yes, but here's the thing.
Okay.
This is my only.
Lay it out for me.
I only want to knock it down a few pegs. It's not my least favorite Mission film, but I just want to say when you watch it today. None of the tech internet stuff holds up at all, and it's hilarious. It's so dude goes into like a chat room. Be like, I need to find the bad guy on the Earth. Let me go into this chat room.
It's a Usenet. He goes to every biblical group and checks them all because there's some hiding going on.
And I'm not a big fan of, speaking of John Voight, how his character has a wife in the movie that feels like is 100 years younger than him,
and also looks like his real life daughter.
She feels like
she looks like Angelina
20 years old, even though I think the actress is like 33, but she looks baby face, tiny. And John Voight has like the most old balls, if I can quote Big Daddy, with loose skin and old balls. That's gross. Mission 1 for me.
Okay.
And I just think that some of the Dutch angles, some of the stuff for me doesn't quite, and I'll say this too, I think Tom went a little too hard in that movie.
Whoa.
And he's like, hey, Dad, they're all dead. Like, it's like a little much.
Okay.
I'm like, rein it in, Ethan.
That was peak, like, Tom Cruise's like shout period.
It's funny. Tom Cruise known for his running too. He's kind of slow in that movie when he does his running. He's gotten faster every movie.
What I'm saying.
That's
so.
Mission Impossible over time is a collection of Tom Cruise getting faster ground speed.
Do you think that that's Tom Cruise, or do you think that that's wire work?
Just him running? No, it's Cruise. It's Cruise.
It is Cruise.
It's Cruise and the power of Scientology that makes him faster. Every time he goes up,
he's got moon shoes that propel.
Every time he goes up an OT level, he gets faster.
I'm only gonna look. I can be outvoted. That's fine. But I just want to say, for me, if y'all want to put it S tier, I would say Mission 1 is for me gonna go A tier.
Okay.
If I'm willing. Starting S, I'm like, knock it down A. There's some stuff that I don't.
I think there is a little bit of like when it came out, it was kind of not as beloved as maybe time has let it be.
You're not wrong.
It's much like the Captain America arc, where like Captain America versus First Avenger, when you first saw it, we're like, meh, okay. Now when you go back, you're like, oh, they pay all this stuff off. It's great, but it's like on its own, I don't know. I hear you on that. And my only defense for like the internet stuff is that like they had to make it for people who have never been on the internet in their lives, went to the movie theater and saw this movie.
What's he doing?
And they had to like make it make sense to them.
What is that?
What's a Usenet group?
Oh, you have to wait for an email. Sure.
But I also love like another great thing. He barely fires a gun in that movie. It's not a lot of like gun battle stuff. It is like smart.
And John Woo came in for the sequel and was like, "Nah, dude, we're doing
we're bringing it. We'll get to the Woo."
So why don't we then put it in A tier and move on? That was a great transition.
I'm happy.
For a new D tier movie. Here we go.
I'm happy. So Mission Impossible 1.
Can you find it?
There it is. It's like not a commonly used cover. Cover. I feel like we're used to that white background with the globe.
Paramount now. If you're, I can't talk about the streaming services. Sorry, I took it off.
Yeah, don't.
No, find this movie.
We're going off of all of our Blu-ray collections.
Yeah, if you buy the physical, they have a full collection now. They all have like a red cover. And they all have the stunt on the cover.
Yeah, so if you had bought those movies before July 12th, you're clear.
Yeah.
If not, there are places on the internet that you can go.
I'm a big fan of when they do look at a whole franchise and they like do all the covers and it's like kind of a uniform design.
Yeah, they clean it up.
I'm a sucker for that.
I like that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I like that a little bit.
Does it work for you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good.
In book collections too.
Ooh,
I'm like
I do
when
like
the
that
spines make one image, I'm like, ugh, don't do this to me because now it's viable.
Give it to me. That's what I say.
Mission Impossible 2 got a new director, the director of Face Off.
Yeah.
And among other things.
Yeah. The great John Woo.
Truly, I think that that's fair to say.
They got
D tier.
They got Limp
It is not
Bizkit to do the
D
theme.
tier.
Definitely D tier. It's tough.
I don't need to talk about it too. I think that this one, it's interesting. I think, to be fair, I think the first one, some of the stuff that maybe because it wasn't so as beloved as a few years later, is that I think it played a lot with the realism.
Yeah.
Even though some stuff was zany, like the CG train stuff, that I think this one ricocheted too far in the other direction.
Right.
They're like
the motorcycle.
No, I think that works for some cinematic worlds, and I think that audiences were kind of like, this isn't what we want. I'll give you this example. When the movie Wild Wild West came out.
Gotcha.
My dad took me to see that movie. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he grew up with the TV show. I've never seen the TV show. Sure. He grew up with the TV show, and he was like, oh, I love that show when I was younger. This is going to be great. We got out of the movie, and I remember as a kid, I was like, that was awesome. Wild Wild West was great. Great song, great giant spider. Will Smith was great.
Funny.
Kevin Kline. Funny. Like Selma Hayek, great. Everybody was great, right? Kenneth Branagh, great. We're leaving the theater, and my dad goes, I didn't like that. Because in the show, they had like little gadgety things. Mm-hmm. It wasn't this big, like he's like, because in the scene in the movie where they have like billiard balls that like do smoke or something, he's like, my dad was like, I remember.
That's my Wild Wild West.
That's my Wild Wild West. So I think that MI2 came out and people were like, John Woo action is cool in John Woo movies. Yeah. But maybe they didn't embrace it. It didn't fit. The motorcycle, like I brought this up to a friend recently and they were like, is that the one where they go like this on motorcycles?
Yeah.
That's all people remember about it.
Now, Tom loves a motorcycle.
Yeah.
He loves to ride a motorcycle without a helmet, which I don't recommend, folks. But he does it in the movies to let you know it's him. He's big on that.
I do like Tandy Newton in this movie, though.
She's good.
She's fantastic.
She's good.
What isn't she good in?
Seriously. Have you heard her in Big Mouth / Human Resources?
Oh, no.
She's hysterical, dude. She's great.
Love it. Okay. Mission Impossible 3.
Okay.
This is the big point of debate. You're going to be mad at me. Hector's a hater.
No.
This is a great movie.
I'm a lover.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Dashiell's the hater. He won't even show himself.
There's some J.J. Abrams haters in this office.
Fair.
And it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. I think that the hate for J.J. Abrams is so overblown. Okay. Now, look, I'm not well, here I go defending J.J. Abrams, and I was about to say I'm not a J.J. Abrams defender. I'm not. I'm really not. I do think, like, okay, I think Rise of Skywalker, not a good movie. You don't know if that's JJ, if that's the studio, if that's,
Honestly, I heard it was, for real, I heard a rumor that it was straight up Bob Iger. Being like reading message boards and being like, Star Wars fans didn't like what they did in Last Jedi. Course correct.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
I don't
believe
that for a second.
I understand.
I've heard and I believe it.
I understand the criticisms of the Force Awakens. I do.
The pilot of Lost is still a banger. Star Trek 1. Banger. Star Trek Into Darkness, well directed, not a great movie. The story not great, but well directed. Super 8, good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good.
Fun movie.
Everyone's like, it's derivative. Shut up.
It literally, intentionally.
It knows it is.
And so I think, right, like the Force Awakens, I get the third act problems that people don't like.
But strong.
It is for me one of the best character introduction pieces in a movie of that scale.
Ray,
the
Poe,
characters are so well
Yep.
established. You care about all of them so quickly.
Mission Impossible
They don't
3?
pay any of that stuff off, but I think that the movie did a really great job.
Straight up, Mission 3, S tier for me.
Yeah.
S tier.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
I was
Philip Seymour Hoffman is so fucking good in that
Seymour
movie.
Hoffman is the best villain in the entire franchise.
I was waiting to stop talking
none.
about Rise of Skywalker
Bar
so
none.
we could talk
I
about
had to
this
defend
movie.
JJ.
Bar none.
I had to
Maggie Q.
Some of
Love Maggie Q in this movie. Ving Rhames. This is the first one that brings in Simon Pegg. Small role,
That's
but
right.
he's in it. Benji's in
That's
it.
right.
There's also a great like kind of MacGuffin from like the first movie they pull in with Kerry Russell, where you think she's going to be around for a lot of the movie. Spoiler alert.
Sad.
She's got another thing on her mind, and it's a bomb.
Spoiler alert. Her
And it's a
eyes
great-
go in different directions.
It's a great moment because it shows them failing, which I think is big.
It's
the
good.
whole movie he fails.
Because I had seen a lot of these movies once and kind of moved on, and ahead of Dead Reckoning, I was like, well, I want to watch all these again.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he left IMF at some point for like a long time and was like IMF was corrupt, and like there's corruption in the IMF constantly.
Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie, and he's good.
And he
seems corrupt.
The bad guy fake outs are great.
Billy
in this.
Crudup.
Now I'll hear Dashiell's argument
So good.
that the trying to marry off Ethan Hunt is a bad storyline, and
I disagree.
I kind of agree with that
That's
a little
studio note.
bit.
That's a studio note.
That's Bob Iger.
Actually,
Studio note.
Dashiell, I'll give you this. I agree, but I think the reason I give it a pass is because what they did with it later.
Yeah.
In
He
the
ends the
very
movie
next
back
movie-
with her. But this is on Her Majesty's Secret Service in Bond, right? Where you marry Bond off and it has consequences.
And we'll talk about the next one, but in the next one, you think she died?
That was a great
And he's back
reveal.
in the
That was
field,
a great
and then-
reveal.
And then she's not. And
Yeah.
I just like how they established these two characters, Ethan and Julia, as really being kind of perfect for each other. They met snowboarding out of a helicopter or some bullshit. Like they met doing extreme sports. But they are destined not to be together because of who Ethan Hunt is as a character. So yes, the ending of this is very cheesy, but it's not the end, baby.
I also, every Mission Impossible movie has its what I'll call party scene, ballroom scene, excuse to put both Ethan Hunt in a tux or suit, and or the female lead of the movie in a sexy dress.
Sure. Oh,
Maggie Q gets a great red dress in this film.
Holy crap! In the car.
She has the Ferrari. I don't know if it's
At the
Ferrari.
Vatican?
I'll speak out of my. I speak out of turn
It's
on that. But like,
incendiary.
I think the party scene is very good in this one. It's a lot of fun.
Because then you also have Philip Seymour Hoffman doing an impression of Tom Cruise.
Yes,
Where he
which is
grabs
great.
Ving Rhames and he's like, thanks, and he's doing like.
Well, and Philip Seymour Hoffman having to get himself to say the phrase.
Yeah.
Which was
also
which
good.
they brought
I've
in.
been a Bubsy's boy or
They
something.
brought in
Sat on
a
mother's
linguist
So
to actually
good.
make that sentence, which has all the vowel sounds and
And,
stuff.
that movie, right, spy stuff ahead of time, that's a new feature in the iPhone software coming out this year.
learning
Is like
sound.
you speak into the phone and like it'll give you a recreation of
And
your
as
voice.
as we go
This is
through these
insane.
movies in this tier list, I think we should discuss the tent poles of Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Which are the big stunt, how they use masks, because it's often a punch. It's a punchline in a lot of movies, but how they use the masks is fun.
Very clever. This one.
The party scene is always good.
I mean,
I
this
think
one
that's
has
important.
this one. Speaking of masks, has
The
the
villain.
great shot of what is it? It's like Ethan sitting in a chair, and then it switches to Philip Seymour Hoffman in the chair. Right?
No, I think
and it's on one.
They do that in the next one.
Am I
They do
misremembering?
that in one of the mirror sequences when Simon Pegg is putting on when Benji's putting on a mask and the actor's sitting on the other side.
You know what I do love about this one, and I think they kept doing it later, is there is a scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman puts on a Philip Seymour Hoffman mask, and he puts it on, but they added CG to like puffy eye him, because it's supposed to be Ethan Hunt with the mask. Ving Rhames then takes his thumbs
and pushes
them in, and it's this amazing little trick that makes you believe
They always look good.
it's a mask.
Wow, that's so
it's like
fun.
all they have to do is push in and now all of a sudden it looks exactly like Philip Seymour Hoffman with different color eyes.
And it gets printed in like 2 seconds.
And
I mean,
this is I think the first one too where they did the vocal.
Yeah, they had the
think.
vocal strip.
And that's been in every movie.
Yeah.
So basically, my summary is I think this movie refocused the Mission Impossible franchise, kind of like the TV show. Oh, also, this is the first one that has a score by Michael Giacchino. Mwah, the score is so good. And also, ending credit song by Kanye West. Terrible. But it's the first one that shifted focus back to like the team dynamic.
Right.
It's it's the team.
Yeah, I think too. Like, and I could be misremembering the first two movies. This movie felt like it was on a bigger scope, a bigger level, more global.
This introduced the God particle
than any of these other ones.
This wasn't the God particle. Oh, this is the rabbit's foot.
Which is mystery box, but perfect.
Yeah.
It's J.J. Abrams' mystery box storytelling.
That's fine.
But I'm like,
There's a MacGuffin in every
I don't need
movie.
to know what the hell
And
it is.
Benji makes it clear how dangerous it is.
So good.
You get a good sense of that from
He
him.
calls it the anti-God.
The anti-God.
But
That's
it's
where-
just the rabbit's foot.
Yeah,
Ethan,
yeah.
where's the rabbit's foot? The rabbit's foot is in Paris. It's not in Paris. Whew, that opening. Ooh.
He's great. He's great in that movie.
It's good.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Damn.
Wish you were still.
Well, and it's an interesting
Me too.
cold open too because it establishes that his wife is going to be put in peril in
Get shot.
this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's a fake. That's a mask.
And
fake out.
more mass fake outs. Is this? No, I'll save that for later.
What, the best one? My favorite.
But,
I think it's my favorite.
We'll put it
I think
up
it's
there.
my favorite.
But
Put it up there.
Next up, Ghost Protes.
This is
Ghost
probably
Protocol.
this is a solid C tier movie.
What?
Solid C tier. Solid. They all
Bro.
get better. They all get better after this.
I if you want to go C, I was going S tier. I will give
What?
you, I will give
Oh,
you
no,
A.
no.
I will give you
No,
A.
no.
Shall we break it down, gentlemen?
Let's break it down. Let's break
Once
it down.
again, score from Michael Giacchino.
Okay.
Brilliant score.
Great.
Secondly, still about the team dynamic. I'll give you this. A villain not as compelling as Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No.
Can't be.
I don't know how you can argue
Can't
that
be.
in the chat. You cannot.
No.
It's a Russian guy who just needed to have nuclear war because that is the inevitable outcome.
that
But
kinda sucks.
when they sneak into the Kremlin, great scene. And then the
You
Kremlin
get to the
explodes.
Kremlin
Great.
explodes. Looks still okay for now.
Paula Patton,
Yes.
wonderful. I miss Maggie Q, but wonderful.
She was a good addition. My main
She
problem.
kills Leah Seydoux.
Yeah, it's true.
Kicks her out a window.
It's true.
Burj Khalifa. So good.
Yeah. Okay. Party scene in this is not as great as a lot of the other party scenes. in
True.
the movies.
I think they're like in India or something. I
Yeah,
forget. Yeah.
they're in,
yeah.
like,
it's
some
fun.
sort of-
That guy takes his shoes off, like a very famous Indian actor, and
Yeah.
Paula Patton like fucks with him. It's
Yeah,
really great.
yeah.
It's really great.
That's fun. There's some good mask work in this one.
Yeah.
Benji
I
really
love
wants to
that
wear a mask.
Yeah.
Work is
Yeah.
one of our.
He's in the field
Yeah.
finally. This
Yes,
introduces
he's in the field.
Jeremy Renner during a hot moment when Jeremy Renner was trying to take over every
Yep.
franchise
Right.
in
but
Hollywood.
here's what I
Right,
love.
Born.
Not even within this movie do they let him do that.
No.
That's what I like about the
They have a
Renner.
foot race at some point.
Grant.
Tom's getting faster, but he is still faster than Jeremy Renner.
Yep.
I think this movie also has a sequence where at one point he's running with a lady, and the lady's in front, and when they cut to the next angle, Tom's in front. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
The big stunt is the climbing of the Burj
Not
Khalifa.
that good of a stunt.
Whoa.
It looks great. It
Whoa.
looks
Well, they
great.
did it.
I know they did
the
it.
stunt.
I'm
looks
about
great.
to spill my
Not that good of a
water.
stunt.
Not that good of a stunt.
Just climbing a building.
Dude,
Whoa,
the
no, no,
highest
no.
building
Yeah.
in the tallest
Well,
building in the
yeah,
world.
sure, whatever.
That let me tell you why this is a great stunt. Also, we didn't mention this. Director Brad Bird.
Brad Bird.
Brad
comes
Bird,
in.
Coming from the
mediocre
animation world.
mediocre live action film director.
How dare?
John
I
Carter
wouldn't
from
dare.
Mars, mediocre.
That
This
wasn't
movie,
him, that was
mediocre.
Andrew Stanton.
You're right. It's a different Pixar director.
How dare?
He did
How dare.
Tomorrowland, which is worse than
It
mediocre.
is.
Okay.
John Carter is good. I'll go to bat for John Carter. I'll go to bat for John Carter, but I don't think John
Carter's
Carter
got
is
issues, but,
as
yeah.
good as Ghost Protes. And
Ghost Protes.
this is what I love about Ghost Protes is that director Brad Bird has said he got up in the middle of the night and he started throwing up while they were making this movie because he was like, I'm going to have the biggest star in the world, Tom Cruise, hanging outside of this building.
Yeah.
Like, there were real stakes. If things went wrong, he
Yeah.
would die.
This was also still, we didn't know if the Burj Khalifa could stand.
Yeah.
We thought it could come down any day.
Well,
And
here's
he
what
opens
I'll
up and
say.
he's in the prison sequence throwing that little rock, and
Yeah.
you think like Julia's dead, and you think he got into prison because
Yeah.
he killed a guy, but it's all sort of like
We don't know if we can trust Jeremy Renner.
Yes,
This
the
introduces Alec Baldwin as well.
That's true, and the way he talks about Ethan Hunt is great.
Yeah.
because he's like he says something like, you know, he is death incarnate, or so, like the most ridiculous.
Yeah, he
things,
has
and it
an
begins that.
interesting speech. and you know, yeah.
This is the one with Holloway too, right? Josh in the opening.
Yes, it was
The
from
opening
Lost.
sequence, he
Yes,
dies.
he gets
So
killed by
that-
Leah Seydoux.
Yeah,
This is my number
Paul
one
Patton loved
problem
him.
with this movie.
Go for it.
Is that I think it focuses too much on the other characters' stories.
I'm okay with
I
that.
want more. I'm
okay with that.
I just want to stick with
It is.
Ethan.
It is.
I don't care about these other
It is
people.
less character development for him. I'll give you that.
Right.
It is, but I think I'm okay with it because again,
This is also Tom's worst hair.
Whoa.
long hair.
Yeah, this is
Whoa.
his long hair works better in
Subjective,
MI2.
okay.
It's tough in this one. It's tough.
I've never liked Tom with long hair, except for in Magnolia, which is great because it fits his character.
Yeah.
So where do y'all? You said.
I mean, you say S tier. I think like we could compromise on a B tier because I know Brandon's not that hot in this movie.
Yeah, this one is
no way this movie's better than the first one. There's no way.
I think it is because I like the slickness of it. I think that all the things.
I think a lot of that was established by J.J. Abrams.
That's fair. I just feel like it's a good carrying of the baton.
Sure.
And I am such a fan of
B-tier carrying of the baton.
I'll settle and go B tier as well.
Sorry, Hector.
Okay, Ghost Protes B tier.
We're gonna land.
That's not Ghost
Protes.
Protes.
Because I think that it just really excels.
Maybe Ghost Protes. These covers are so weird.
We're far away.
That looks like it could be the man from U.N.C.L.E. What am I looking at?
It looks like it could be the Adjustment Bureau.
I think that's a Gucci
I love
ad.
that movie. I've never seen it. All right.
Up,
the next one, is this
Rogue
the first?
Naysh.
Is this the first?
This is the first Christopher McQuarrie. McHugh
is what they call him.
Maggie McHugh.
Rogue Naysh.
This truly set off like
a
many years partnership between Tom and Chris, including Top Gun Maverick, which Chris didn't direct, but he did write and produce.
I say S tier.
Yeah, this is a really good movie.
I mean,
this is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Are we doing S tier?
The cold open for this one is the airplane.
The plane.
Where he's strapped to the outside of the plane.
Halo drop or whatever.
Open the door.
No, Halo's later. That's later.
I'm sorry.
Open the other door.
This is the airplane stunt at the beginning.
The A400.
Oh, where he's hanging on the outside.
Yeah.
That's right.
He actually did the stunt. I mean, look it up.
30 times?
He did it 8
times?
times.
That's
where
wild.
it would take off, and he has to, on the side of a plane, get into the shot, find his light, and deliver lines.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Yeah, he had special contacts in.
Bugs.
He had special contacts in that wouldn't like destroy his eye with the wind shear or whatever.
He's always riding a motorcycle. He's fine. He's
crazy.
fine.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I love the cold open for this one. Is great. The party scene is the opera. They go to the opera. There's like dual assassinations going on.
Because let me tell you, Rebecca Ferguson.
The Syndicate is a great bad guy thing.
With Solomon Lane.
Solomon Lane is a great villain.
Great. Second best villain in the franchise, Ethan.
Oh, one of the tropes we didn't discuss, is the mission, right?
Yeah.
It comes from the record shop.
Yeah.
You get a little thing, and you're going through it, and like if you do this on a rewatch and you're going through these, you're like, okay, we're at the mission part.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear the mission, and as you're hearing it, it gets revealed that you're getting tricked. That Ethan's getting tricked and you're getting tricked because Simon Lane has infiltrated the mission briefing.
Yes.
And the door locks and the gas starts coming and he gets knocked out.
That is great.
And he watches the record shop girl get shot. Shot dead.
Yeah, right?
Shot dead. And she's an IMF.
Is this one you haven't seen?
No, I just haven't seen it in a long time.
It is.
Have you seen all of these or are there any you haven't seen?
I have not seen 2. I have not seen the most recent one.
Okay.
Oh, okay, great.
We're going to spoil the most recent one for you.
A little bit.
Yeah, Rogue Nation is really good.
And back to the party scene, because not only is this an introduction to Rebecca Ferguson, who I think is wonderful in this franchise because she represents, I think, everything that Julia could not, because she is an equal to Ethan at the agent,
at a different agency,
at a secret agent
MI6,
level.
yeah.
And she is such a good actor, and she's also stunningly beautiful. And in that opera scene, they gave her a dress that is a color yellow. That I feel like watching that. I'm like, I've never seen this shade of yellow in my life. Like it is like magic. And she's it's that thing where you want. Sometimes in these movies, you want men and women to remain sexy, but still not be like objectified, but like do everything that is masculine and sexy, do everything that is feminine and sexy. And Rebecca Ferguson, when she like props up her leg to pull out this gun, I'm like what is like this is incredible, and it's not. I don't think it's through the male gaze. But it's like these are the this is the help me out here, fellas.
I'm letting you hoist yourself.
Okay, great. Let me just try to.
I think too, right? Like these movies have been filled with tropes like that for so long,
sort of Bond
and this
girl,
movie gives those characters agency and makes them feel more important to the story, and are not just like a love interest of any of the characters.
I do want to point. I do want to point this out though. I think that by the time Fallout came out, I went through, because I was very curious about this, going back to the first one and John Voight and his weird old balls relationship marriage. I went and checked like the age of the male protagonist with the age of the female protagonist. So like Tom Cruise's age as these movies went along. And in the first movie, Tom was the same age as his potential love interest, John Voight's wife. They were like the same age. But John Voight was like 60, and she was like 30, so it was nasty. In the second movie, Cruise was a little older, I think, than Tandy Newton. And then in the third movie, surprisingly, the age gap between Tom Cruise and I'm forgetting the actress's name who plays Julia. She's fantastic.
Michelle Monaghan.
Michelle Monaghan is like pretty steep. It's like 15 or 20 years or something. But like Tom is going to continue to look great.
Right.
But
he doesn't age.
But in that movie, it looks can be deceiving, but they looked like they were
They looked
around,
comparable ages.
In the next movie, in Ghost Protes, Paula Patton, I think, was younger than Michelle.
Oh.
And her and Tom Cruise kind of had a flirtation, but it wasn't right. But it wasn't really
that movie. Yeah. That's the movie where it starts like being like Ethan's realized he's not hooking up with anyone long term.
You get to Rogue Naysh, and I think because Rebecca Ferguson, she just kind of has like a look that is like Michelle Monaghan kind of has like a baby.
They look
face.
very similar.
True.
I will say
they're both attractive.
There are
like,
some things that are similar about
white
them.
women. White women, yes, right. One is British, one's American. But like Michelle has a kind of like a baby face, and I think Rebecca Ferguson has more of a like she looks like a grown woman, whatever that is.
She looks like a Bene Gesserit.
It almost looks like she's closer in age to Tom Cruise. She's actually younger than Michelle Monaghan. So like that age gap kind of continues to grow. And I think I haven't checked with Haley Atwell, but like I think it's gonna keep. Like I think it just.
I think she's a lot younger than Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna speed us up here a little bit because we want to do a Pixar tier list, and there's a lot of movies on that tier list.
I'm sorry.
Up next is Fallout. Is that right?
Wait, we have to place Rogue Naysh.
Oh, good point.
S tier. But do you guys say that 3 is better or Rogue Naysh is better?
3 is by far better than. I prefer one to Rogue Naysh.
Whoa.
But put that.
What about you?
I'll recuse myself.
I mean, I really like Rogue Nation. I think it stands up above a lot of them. And I
what tier?
I would put it S.
S? I would put it S.
Well,
we could compromise and say A. I would compromise and say A if we need to.
No. I think it's but I think we're all okay with it being not as good as 3.
Okay.
Right? Because we're going left to right.
I will remember this.
Okay.
I will remember this.
Relax.
Fallout.
When we get to the good dinosaur.
I take umbrage with Fallout.
Okay.
I think the ending of that movie, if I'm remembering correctly, was so off-putting to me.
What was
because
the
I think like
the end, they're
snow, right?
They're at the place in Asia. I don't remember where in Asia it was, where the 2 nuclear devices were planted. They've stopped them. That's where the inoculation center that his ex-wife and her new husband.
Oh, I love that.
The guy from Yellowstone have set up.
The doctor,
and it ends with Tom waking up in a hospital bed and being like, everything's okay, ha 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 ha, and they're laughing.
What are you mad about? You wanted them all to die?
Solomon
I think
Lane.
I was just like, it's not that I want these characters to die. I just want this, like, we're moving into too unbelievable territory. Where the Fast and the Furious.
Mission Impossible.
Hold on.
Friend.
The Fast and the Furious franchise went so fucking far outside of the realm of realism, and I just don't want to see every franchise fully lose grounding. And I really like this franchise, and like
go watch a documentary, jerk.
Part of the thing I like about this movie is like being able to sit in my suspension of disbelief.
But do we need to remind you what the word IMF stands for? Do you know?
I don't. You said it 6 times.
Do you know?
Impossible Mission.
Yes.
Force. It's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
But
they make fun of
it's not as dumb as Fast and Furious. You're right.
Angela Bassett shows up
and
as
I
director.
have nothing against.
Oh, God.
I have nothing against Angela Bassett's great. I have nothing against Fast and Furious.
Okay.
I'm just because that franchise is doing what they're doing. I don't need them all to go that direction.
What's your tier so we know kind of where to come at you with this argument?
Where you at?
I'm at a C tier for this.
C tier?
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
I will not settle for anything less than A.
There's a great moment.
Insane.
There's a great moment at the end of I believe
Fallout.
it's. Well, I'm going back to when Alec Baldwin decides, like, hey, you guys are great after all.
Yeah.
And he has that line of, like, saving one saves millions.
It could be Rogue Naysh.
Was that Rogue Naysh?
I think he's also in that, too.
Well, he's already in charge in Rogue Naysh.
And Jeremy Renner are in Rogue Naysh to a small degree.
I think in Ghost Protes, he decides to get in charge of the... He's with the CIA.
You guys like that,
and at the end of Ghost Protes...
keep laughing at?
The end of Ghost Protes, he goes, I'm going to be in charge of the IMF because I like this.
Do you know what I call the 6th Mission Impossible movie? Fall. That's what I call it.
Because in Fall...
It's a good
Ghost
season.
Protes, Rogue Nation, Fall.
And in Follow...
All right, so we're compromising on a B tier movie?
No, it's an A-tier movie. First of all, the big stunt.
You guys are so fucking generous.
There's 2 big stunts. There's 2 big stunt moments.
Henry Cavill cocks his arms. It's iconic.
That's what frustrates me. The fucking sound effects. The sound effects not in the movie. It's only in the trailer. They don't put it in the movie, and that's cowardly.
They introduced the White Widow in this movie. movie.
Yes, they do.
They bring back Solomon Lane. They have an incredible sequence where he gets broken out and he's in the car and the water comes around.
This begins to establish. We were talking about John Woo and all the gunplay in MI2. He kills everybody.
Yeah.
But this one begins to establish like Ethan Hunt has like a superhero mentality where he's like no innocents die.
Right.
And he gets mad when like a cop gets caught in it. You know what I mean? Like he
saves people.
And I argue cops aren't innocent.
French ones especially, but I like this superhero.
It was a female
mentality.
French cop, so we feel bad for her.
Yeah,
I guess
it was so sad.
All right,
so
put it in the A tier.
Yeah,
I
it's
disagree.
A-tier.
I think this is a C tier movie, but
There's
put it in the A tier.
a great Halo jump stunt that looks bad because they added too much CGI to it, but it was real. But the helicopter stuff is great. Tom is flying a helicopter zone. They shot it in IMAX. There's some stunts hanging from a helicopter.
Great Benji stuff. Great Ving Rhames
Great
stuff.
Benji
Rebecca
stuff.
Ferguson
The
stuff.
mask works. The mask doesn't work. Angela Bassett has a great line of like, it's just fucking Halloween masks, which is like my favorite thing. And in the end, much like Alec Baldwin, she's won over and she's like, you guys are great. I love the IMF. Dude.
God.
I love the IMF.
Yeah, we need more Angela Bassett in these. And
well, Christopher McQuarrie said that she wasn't available for the most recent
otherwise
film.
she would have been.
You can see her image on the wall in the background.
A little
but they said we're not done with her.
We are going now into the last movie. I don't want to spoil too much because producer John hasn't had a chance to see it yet. But we're talking about Mission Impossible.
And we're not promoting this movie.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reck. And this is Powa, and Dead Reck Powa is I would say it is a S or A tier film.
Yeah,
I've heard it's great.
I would put it A for now. We got to see.
I think it's not my favorite. Not my favorite. A for now. I put it above the original Mission.
Ooh, do you think that this will be, one of those movies where once you put them together, you're like, that's
your question? Because
movie.
Just because it's Powa, I don't think that Powa is the
You don't think
same,
it's a Kill Bill scenario?
No, or even Fast X, if we're talking about Fast and Furious. That was like such a clear cliffhanger that I really think I'm like, yeah, this is half a movie. We're going to, or even like Spider-Verse. People were complaining, this is half a movie.
Man, Spider-Verse's ending in comparison to Fast 10's
I'm just saying they're both cliffhangers.
Why are we talking about Fast 10?
Those are the only movies I've seen.
But I do want to say Dead Reck Powa does not have that kind of ending.
It has resolution, it has set up for the next
one. Like National Treasure.
It subverts your expectations.
The deleted scene in National Treasure.
Book of Secrets?
No.
Whatever. I'm going to say A tier, put it to the left of Mission 1. Put it to the left of Mission 1.
Wow, that's crazy.
If it accepts.
It won't allow you.
You can move Mission 1.
Drag Mission to the right. Drag Mission to the right. And this is our final... Yeah, right there is fine. If you want to put it above...
I don't endorse this tier list. It doesn't have my signature at the bottom.
I endorse this.
I like it.
Actually, I don't either. You can go to Instagram for mine. And for me, I would put the TV shows below everything else.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh my goodness, wasn't that fun? It was your mission and you chose to accept it. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitch at BreakroomNR. We'll see you there.